Good morning. I'm Sam Knutson, Vice President of Product Management at Compuware, and I'm here to give you some updates on Compuware and share some thoughts about our DevOps approach. So June 1st, Compuware was acquired by BMC, and that's been an incredibly exciting time. I've been lucky enough to speak to analysts and press along with BMC's senior leadership. I can tell you that the response has been outstanding. Compuware brings to BMC and their vision for the AE, a compelling enterprise DevOps capability. And this has really resonated with the market. We are able to enable Agile and DevOps on the zOS platform better than any other company in the industry. And this really resonates with customers who see the need to acquire this capability and build their own software delivery system. BMC and Compuware together are incredibly complementary. BMC's aiming with bringing automation and intelligence to operations on the mainframe is a complete complementary fit to Compuware's agile development delivery capabilities and the customer successes that we've been able to build. We're committed together to provide no disruption to our customers, and in the past several months, they've seen this and in the day-to-day operation and continued delivery of innovation and great support. We're fully committed to providing comprehensive mainframe product portfolio that really helps customers advance their DevOps journey. And it's customers who have really told us what they want. And primarily, they want us to do the things that we've both been doing together better. So as now both companies provide quarterly releases, we'll get innovation to them faster, building on more than 23 quarters of innovation delivered to customers by Compuware. Compuware and BMC will do releases together of new capabilities every quarter to customers. And they are very excited about this. They need to go fast, and they need this innovation to get to them as quickly as possible. Our approach, fundamentally, has been to make the mainframe normal in a good way when it comes to integrating it into an overall DevOps approach. We've called this mainstreaming the mainframe, so that it's different only in syntax. And we knew from the beginning that we couldn't do this alone, that it wasn't enough to do this, just as Compuware, but that we had to reach out and work with partners. And I will talk a little bit more about that later. But the overall approach has been to help customers bring new people on by providing easy-to-use products that integrate in ways that are as they are normal for the industry. So using RESTful APIs, SDKs, and CLIs that are available to partners, and by working openly with them. Those integrations have proven incredibly valuable. And by delivering products that provide high value, that are easy to use, that customers are enthusiastic about, and that provide a great developer experience. And we look at the overall implementation of Agile and DevOps, and we've shown our own successes internally and helped customers on their own journey. And now customers are telling their stories. So this has been an incredibly effective approach to help customers advance their DevOps journey. And the adoption of enterprise DevOps is really moving from the phase when early adopters were most common to now early majority, as more and more customers need these capabilities on their mainframe systems, because the mainframe systems are the ones that matter. Those are the ones that are going to really move the needle for customers. It's where 80% of corporate data resides on or transits through the mainframe. And that core business logic, the digital DNA that these customers have, that is how they are highly successful and differentiated. But if they can't adjust those systems to changing conditions in the marketplace, to be incredibly effective as competitors, to really succeed in a digital transformation, then they're going to fail overall. And we've seen many stories where customers create sort of faux DevOps successes by creating small incubators on a tiny system of engagement that they can change rapidly, but ignoring their mainframe systems or working around them in unnatural ways, and the results don't change the outcomes for the business and really don't dramatically improve the experience of customers. So this approach is to help developers be better developers, happier developers, and customers to get better outcomes. Now, you'll find that the word DevOps is overused. And in fact, many of our competitors talk about Agile and DevOps, but they really haven't done the necessary changes in terms of their product portfolio that's necessary to deliver value for customers. Sometimes it's helpful to use language that goes away from words that customers might be fatigued with. So you'll hear us talk about automation, integration, and measurement as core capabilities. And we'll use these as a substitute for talking about DevOps. And you'll see this in enablement material from Compuware and in some of our presentations. And it's language that you can also adapt. So let's talk a little bit about what actually are we delivering in terms of products and technologies, and how do they work with products and technologies that customers already have. Fundamentally, we are helping customers to have a multi-platform, multi-vendor tool chain. This is completely different from the typical approach that vendors, especially mainframe vendors, were well known for in the past. It was expected that vendors would sort of back up and empty the truck of all their products, with their recommendation being that you had to adopt all of their technology to get good results. DevOps, and particularly in a tool chain, allows for a high degree of automation and products from multiple vendors to fulfill customers' needs and provide an incredible customer experience. And we know that we can't possibly recreate all the capabilities of common vendors. And in fact, it's the strength of these vendors in the marketplace and in tool chains that are most likely already in use in the distributed environment at many of these Fortune 1000 customers that gives us a distinct advantage. We found that these integrations are what made our portfolio more attractive to them than others. So it is these day-to-day developer experience where developers edit code, analyze existing code, because working code is gold. And most of the activities, even creating new functionality, involve deep understanding of existing programs and portfolios. Editing as an experience is probably where developers live all day long. And these types of activities are what we've addressed in the innovation inside Topaz, allowing customers to visualize the execution of programs, the structure of programs, and data, giving them powerful integrations to tools like Jenkins for process automation, SonarQube for immediate quality feedback so that developers don't have to wait. They can get real-time feedback as they're working in a modern IDE like Topaz. And at the heart of it all, ISPW with a powerful catalog of RESTful APIs that can integrate to all of these various packages that need to be part of the tool chain, including orchestration engines like XL Release from Digital AI or CloudBees, BMC Helix for ticket management and deployment into production. So these capabilities, again, provide a great developer experience, and all are measured by zAdviser, our analytics platform that takes in data not only from our tools, but from others, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Compuware's industry-leading solutions really are regarded as the gold standard. So when you think about Topaz, the Topaz Suite, which we'll drill into a little bit more, it's supported by tools like Avendate, Expediter, Strobe, FileAid, and HyperStation, tools that were known in the industry for decades as best in class, gold standard, and beloved by developers. It is very typical that I go to a customer and we talk about DevOps, adopting our tools as part of advancing their DevOps efforts, and many of the developers are eager to get the Compuware tools because they're familiar with them from other sites and know that they are far better than the tools that they have in their hands. And of course, our Compuware customers love these tools, and now they're very excited that over the last 6 years, they've seen a steady delivery of innovation so that every single quarter they've gotten significant updates to those classic offerings, as well as new options and DevOps integrations. We also have a strong portfolio of tools on the operations side that is a natural fit for the great operational excellence that BMC has been delivering to market for decades. And in fact, when I talk about partnerships and integrations, the partnership with BMC in 2015 was the very first one that Compuware announced. So bringing these tools that help customers test programs, edit data, manage their portfolio, including new cybersecurity options with application audit, which is a natural fit for the AMI security portfolio. All of these key capabilities, allowing them to optimize programs or debug failures. These things are well known and a fan favorite from developers throughout the industry. So let's drill in just a little bit more to Topaz, ISPW, zAdviser, and what do we mean in terms of DevOps? So we'll talk about automation, integration, and measurement, and help you understand how we fulfill those core tenets of being successful with enterprise DevOps. The Topaz Suite itself consists of an IDE, which is included with maintenance for all our customers. So customers who have Hyperstation, FileAid, Expediter, all of our core tools are entitled to use that basic IDE, which gives them a modern GUI application to access those core tools that's user-friendly in an Eclipse desktop. It also includes two priced SKUs, Topaz for Program Analysis, which gives you in one set of capabilities everything you really need to understand code, complex and unfamiliar programs that you might have to work on in a relatively short period of time as part of an agile sprint. And we provide tools for both static analysis of code and industry-leading tools like Runtime Visualizer that allow you to actually understand how programs run in real time. We also have a SKU, Topaz for Enterprise Data, that is the complement to FileAid that allows you to really deeply understand and edit in rich ways your data on both mainframe and distributed using some of the same paradigm. Topaz for Total Test, invented at Compuware, provides the ability to do virtualized and non-virtualized testing. And we'll drill in a little bit more to the needs for customers for testing and the capabilities that we provide. And finally, Topaz Connect provides a set of integration and bridging functions, including customers who have large Endeavor deployments that they cannot immediately displace with ISPW, and will naturally follow as a door opener if you can't displace Endeavor, but you want to get Topaz in the door quickly. And our sales enablement materials will definitely help you know when to bring these tools into play. So the developer experience is really central to what Topaz is about to deliver. We want to be laser focused on nailing the jobs of developers. And this picture gives you a good idea of how customers go about making software changes. And you can kind of also get a good idea for our roadmap for Topaz and where we're investing in the types of activities that we want to help advance for customers. We want to help them analyze complex applications, change code and data, test those changes, and commit that code, triggering actions in a DevOps CD pipeline. And our investments in Topaz really align with this vision of a fabulous developer experience. And ISPW is a critical component. It fits in here, providing our SCM build and deployment processes without having to work around limitations in a legacy SCM, including full integration to Git for customers who see that as the future for their source management activities. It is integrating this experience and making developers both young tenured developers and experienced developers more productive, happy, and giving them access to these automated pipelines that improve quality, velocity, and efficiency for our customers. So let's talk a little bit more about testing. Test automation is a core requirement. We did a survey in 2019. The survey results supported this, and mainframe testing historically has tended to be looked at like baking a cake. They're, really archaic. Customers would often talk about, well, testing equates to spending 4 weeks in the user environment and 3 weeks in pre-prod. And it really was kind of like a recipe of, well, if we just leave it in this state for this amount of time, it'll naturally be tested and better. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. It tended to be highly reliant on individual experience and the capabilities that were understood by the individuals doing those testing. Automated testing is repeatable and again helps developers have a high degree of quality, velocity, and efficiency. So customers, 80% of them said that if they didn't automate more test cases, as they tried to go faster, bad code is inevitably going to get into production. And again, you see a majority believing that automating those test cases is crucial to dealing with the growing skill shortages. They no longer have people who apprentice on an application for years or decades and become experts in that individual application. Developers have to be able to come to an application, quickly make changes, and because of the underlying set of automated tests that are in place, have a high degree of confidence that they can deploy those changes to improve outcomes for the firm with confidence. More than 90% say that increasing automated testing could be the single most important factor to their success in digital transformations. But only 7% of organizations are automating execution of test cases on the mainframe. So Topaz for Total Test is a massive opportunity for customers to improve the outcomes they're getting and address some of the most crucial needs that they have in improving their development processes. So let's talk about how we automate testing. And Topaz for Total Test provides two distinct types of capabilities. The ability to virtualize the environment so that, systems like DB2, IMS, vSAM files are all stubbed out so that a program piece of logic can execute as an atomic repeatable test and be driven automatically as code is promoted. And this can be used easily by developers in early environments where they may not have all of those components ready to test, and they're making changes and they need feedback as quickly as possible. As they progress, they're also going to need tools to drive live testing, non-virtualized testing against live data in databases or files. And Topaz for Total Test also provides this capability. All of this in one product. Every quarter, these capabilities continue to advance. And we see that this is very compelling for customers, with over a 467% ROI in a study that we did with Forrester. It was an independent study. It was called a Total Economic Impact. We've got, and I'll reference this study at the end of the presentation so that you can go get the related materials yourself and go through it. But what customers saw was that in less than 6 months, they saw benefits that vastly exceeded their expectations and their requirements from a POC, and that they really were seeing savings projected over just a few years of over $20 million. So they were able to quantify this with the help of Forrester, working directly with the customer. And it's these kind of proof points where customers see dramatic improvements in the outcomes they're getting through automated testing that we know drive the need for these by customers. Now, at the heart of all of this is our ISPW, and this is our tool for SCM, build, and deploy on the mainframe. It provides modern capabilities like integration using webhooks for driving events, integration with orchestration tools for release, and CD tools, CI and CD tools like Jenkins or others that allow automation of the promotion of code so that you have a modern code pipeline. And it also provides tools for developers like impact analysis that help them better understand the code that they're working with. All of these things are critical, again, to improving quality, velocity, and efficiency for the developers and to give them a modern developer experience that is both highly automated and pleasant. What do customers think about this? I can tell you that we have never lost an ISPW customer. It's never been replaced. Customers love this product. And Debbie Moodley, who's an executive at Nedbank, recently shared this quote. And they talk about how visual ISPW is, that it's a complete transformation. It's a simple way of managing the code. We've seen this repeatedly. Customers are passionate about this technology because it is a bridge to a new way of working for them. And in the same way that Compuware adopted ISPW as part of our transformation to use Agile and DevOps techniques to improve what we delivered to customers, so are our customers, and they're talking about it. You'll see a couple other quotes in this presentation, but there are dozens of customer case studies, including quotes like this, and I'll reference those at the end of the presentation. But suffice to say, this is a product customers love and is a technology for customers who are on legacy SCMs like Endeavor, Changeman, Panvalet, or Librarian, or worse yet, roll your own homegrown tools that dramatically improves the outcomes that they can get by giving them modern tools to improve their ability to deliver software. Let's talk a little bit about integration. Integrations, as I said, are one of our key competitive advantages. And we've taken an open borders approach where we integrate with the companies that it makes sense to in getting feedback from our customers. And so we've integrated with popular tools outside the mainframe. And the Compuware tools tend to go to the edge of the mainframe, do the heavy lifting to integrate using tools like Jenkins, open source or cloud-based Jenkins, SonarSource for quality, AppDynamics, Digital AI for release orchestration, cloud-based for release orchestration, even companies that you might consider to be a competitor. And of course, the first set of integrations we announced in 2015 was BMC. And BMC and Compuware have long partnered, and you'll see many more in the future. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we look at Roadmap. But consider that these complementary portfolios offer many additional integration points for the two sets of software to come together and give more capabilities to customers. And that's what these integrations do. Customers have two pieces of software, and they simply get more value by having pre-built integrations that are easy to use. For instance, with Jenkins, almost a half a dozen plugins in the Jenkins marketplace that allow customers to easily leverage these capabilities on the mainframe delivered by Compuware tools. And it's in these integrations that customers see value. So they've been able to say that they improved the efficiency of code check-ins and checkouts, a typical developer activity, by 30%. They cut the time to complete code editing by more than a fourth. It was from a European bank. And they cut manual operator commands and interactions with their batch workloads by more than 90%. So it's these integrations with other products, whether they're and we have integrations with Compuware products, of course, with BMC products, but with these many third parties that really deliver consistent value. And it's a core tenet of DevOps that you will be open, that you will have publicly documented APIs, and allow these public integrations. And that's exactly what we've done. So we talked about automation, integration. Now let's talk a little bit about measurement. So our platform for measurement is zAdviser, and we consider measurement to be absolutely critical to success with Agile and DevOps, not only on ZOS, but on any platform. zAdviser is a platform which is available at no additional charge for customers who are active on maintenance. And we've instrumented all of the Compuware development tools the same way that you would instrument an airplane or a large ship with a black box to understand what developers are doing click by click. And this information is consumed by zAdviser, as well as information from ticket management systems and from SCM tools like ISPW, which is richly instrumented, or tools like Endeavor or ChangeMan, because we knew it was such an important component of understanding what developers were doing. So those three pieces of data come together, are put through our analytics platform, and provide a series of dashboards that give customers deep insights into the day-to-day activities of developers in a way that they've probably never seen, and allows them to manage their development activities in a data-driven way so that they can look at developers who are all often far too few, like high-performance athletes, and coach them to get better outcomes. Because if you're going to improve quality, velocity, and efficiency, you've got to help the development process improve. You've got to hunt down waste and eliminate it. And you've got to help your developers execute better by helping to eliminate those wastes, implement automation, find your biggest constraints and bottlenecks, and aggressively address them, and help your developers do more for the firm. For Compuware, by using these techniques in this measurement platform, we've been able to reduce the bugs that escape our lab. We've been able to get more than twice as much code from every developer that we were before. We've seen dramatic improvements in the outcomes that we're able to generate and give more value to customers faster by constantly instrumenting and understanding our own development processes. And again, this is an analytics platform that's available to all our customers who are active on maintenance. And we're actively working with BMC product and engineering to understand how we can make this available for BMC products. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the types of problems that we want to attack for customers, and also give you a few resources to take away that you can pursue after this presentation. So the Compuware Roadmap is focused on several core challenges that we feel all of our customers face. We want to modernize the IDE, modernize that developer experience so that mainframe developers can be pulled into the mainframe from outside. And we've already started to see some full stack teams in the wild at customers where you have developers who work on both mainframe systems and systems of engagement that are not exclusively working on mainframe technologies. And certainly, next-gen developers today are not going to be enthused about working on tools that are purely green screen and more than 50 years old. So giving them a highly automated, beautiful desktop that is part of a great developer experience and helps them to sustain a DevOps approach and work effectively in an agile team is incredibly important. We want to reduce the time to market for mainframe changes and really help them be more productive and help our customers onboard those developers quickly. We want to help them move in their own DevOps journey. And part of that includes addressing improving code quality. And I've already talked about a few of the ways that we do that. with a helpful editor with integrations to tools like Sonar Source, and implementing quality gates as part of a CD pipeline. Those techniques will dramatically help customers improve quality, and we've seen that in customers who've made significant enterprise DevOps efforts that include the mainframe. We want to help them modernize and connect mainframe into distributed processes so that they can get homogeneous processes for managing code and deploying code on both mainframe and distributed systems. And we want to help them automate those pipelines so that, again, DevOps SREs can build highly automated processes that have very little waste to build and deploy changes to production. We also have portfolios of products that align well, and we see, like BMC, security as a key challenge. So one of the new products that we invented, Application Audit, aligns very strongly with AMI for security. So let's talk about a little bit about the things that we're actually doing to address some of those challenges. Topaz for Total Test is delivering intelligent testing that integrates deeply with ISPW source code management to help customers automatically run the right tests. We have zAdviser that provides benchmarking so that customers can really see how their teams compare to each other and really how they compare to worldwide verticals. Topaz for Workbench has provided a very robust editing environment that is fully the equal of what customers' expectations are, allowing them to do things like deal with non-display hex data and fully displace competitors' products like RDZ. Strobe is transitioning to a 64-bit supported release in the first half of next year, really looking to the future on the z/OS platform and continuing to be the gold standard for optimizing application execution. There are many more features that are in plan, and we're always happy to have a roadmap conversation with customers about these broad approaches that we're taking, more specifically, a smaller portfolio of products that might be of interest to that particular customer. Let's talk a little bit about those resources that I mentioned that you can follow up on to get a better understanding of DevOps and a better understanding of what our challenges our customers are facing and how we can help them. Compuware's DevOps architects are amazing folks who go out and talk to customers. And Rick Slade, one of our DevOps architects, has been doing a podcast that I think is probably one of the best resources I've ever seen. Rick, after being sidelined by COVID, not able to travel and go to his workshops on-site with customers, has been very effective in delivering them remotely. But he also had the time to start a new podcast and really get his thoughts down on building a software delivery system, helping customers look at this as a key component, just like any other product that they had to architect and maintain to be effective in digital transformation and in today's marketplace. It's 15 chapters, and you can find this podcast by searching for Compuware Mainframe in your favorite podcast app, or by going to the URL on the bottom of the page. If this was an audiobook on Amazon, it would cost you $25. It's free for the taking for you and for all our customers. And I can't think of any better time that you would make as an investment than listening to Rick go through these various thoughts on how customers have to transform the way they build and deploy software. And think about this as a key corporate capability if they're going to be competitive today. Now, what's really great for BMC and Compuware is that we are so well positioned to help customers build this software delivery system. But Rick's explanation and insights are not a product pitch. It is a lifetime's experience of someone who has had a great career at IBM and Compuware and has been a trusted advisor to customers for years. Rick has a session during BMC Exchange, and I would highly recommend that you go listen to that and then listen to his podcast and use this as a tool to connect with customers who are on this DevOps journey. I'd like to leave you with sort of a lightning round of resources that I think you'll find very, very useful. And these are things that have resonated with customers and people that I've talked with in industry. The first is a series of guidebooks that Compuware wrote. And we wrote these because we had some of the same questions coming from so many customers. And they're called, it's Achieving DevOps Guidebook Series. You can get all three of them. The first one is Mainframe Agility. And it really provides a 10-step approach that customers can use to get a punch list of how they're going to start to implement Agile and DevOps on the mainframe. And the reason we wrote that book, and it's our most popular downloaded ebook ever, is because the conversations with customers became overwhelming in number, and they changed. And I can tell you that in 2014 or 2015, conversations with customers about DevOps and mainframe tended to be, why should I do DevOps on the mainframe? Why would I use Agile development on the mainframe when I've done waterfall projects for years? But as the need for digital transformation became well understood by all large enterprise customers, the majority of those conversations changed to how do I? And customers looked for a prescriptive path. So we provided one. Now, it can of course be adjusted for any customer, but it's a touchstone for a great set of conversations with customers about what are the various aspects of their development processes that they need to transform and in what order they can approach them. So we've also written books on KPIs and measurement and on operations, but you can get all three at that URL, the Achieving DevOps Guidebooks. I gave you a few customer quotes. Customer stories are the most compelling evidence that we have. And we have been very successful in obtaining customer case studies as customers went through these digital transformations and used the Compuware tools to implement DevOps on their mainframe. So go to the URL and you can get dozens of customer case studies for these different products, and in particular for our DevOps approach using ISPW and Topaz that will help you get customers on board with the need to do this and to see this as a proven and safe path. I talked about automated testing, and that TEI study, the Forrester Total Economic Impact of Compuware Total Test, is available with supporting materials for you to download. Finally, we gave you a brief overview of our products that help you work with code and data and some areas of operations. All of those products have simple 2-minute video explainers that you can watch to get a quick understanding of what they're all about and the job that they try to nail, and also to share that information with other people. I've already talked and hopefully engaged you in listening to Rick Slade's podcast series and his BMC Exchange session. And I would welcome you to connect with me on LinkedIn, and the URL to do that is right there. And then finally, I'd close with just a couple resources that if you really want to get inspired, these are where I would start in terms of getting excited about enterprise DevOps. The Phoenix Project and the Unicorn Project were two books written by Gene Kim. They give you the essence of DevOps, and they're accessible by everyone. We had a book club in Compuware headquarters, and it was led by someone in our finance department, not an engineer, not an architect, not a product manager. And they really got it because we pivoted the entire company to help customers solve DevOps on the mainframe in 2016. And we needed everyone to get behind that. And finally, a talk by Compuware's CEO and CFO, Chris O'Malley and Joe Aho, at DevOps Enterprise Summit 2019 in Las Vegas, when we actually used to go to conferences talking about how to communicate with the C-suite and the value. So I've given you a ton of information, in 40 minutes. And we've only touched on a few of the things that I think would be most helpful. So thank you for your time today, and please reach out to me on LinkedIn and let me help you understand the Compuware approach and these resources.